how to manifest money during the coronavirus situation. It's a question that I've been getting asked a lot. Well, how do I get more money into my life, especially with all this stuff going on? A lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people afraid. And the question is, how do I get more money? So in this video, I want to share with you how to manifest money into your life, regardless of what's going on in the present environment and society all around us. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com, and let's dive right into this video. Think about it. Where does money actually come from? Well, technically it comes from a printing press, and the Federal Reserve just prints a bunch of buttons and continues to inflate our money supply. But wait, that's another story entirely. Where does money come from? It comes from ideas. Within you, you have multi-million-dollar ideas. Let me say it again. Within you, you have multi-million-dollar ideas. But society has convinced you for so long to look for those ideas to bring money into your life outside of yourself. Well, how do I do it? What should I do? And we spend countless time in analysis paralysis, looking everywhere except for within our own minds. It's kind of like when you lose your car keys, and you're like, where the heck are my car keys? And you're running around, you're looking for your car keys, and after a really long time, they're in your hand. Or you're looking for your sunglasses, but then they end up being on your head, or for me, they get lost inside your hair. And it's right in front of your face, and we're looking everywhere else. We're asking everybody else. But in that process, we are actually rejecting the million-dollar ideas that are within every single one of us, buried in our subconscious. Right? So in a world where we're conditioned to always place our attention outside of ourselves, look for the authority figure on the internet or in books or in institutions or on the television or at school, and we're always like, how do we manifest money? How do we bring more money into our life? What should I do? And so it becomes intimidating. It becomes intimidating to actually look within yourself. You have multi-million-dollar ideas inside of you. Every single thing that exists in this world was once an idea. Every single thing that exists in this world, whether it's this camera, whether it's an iPhone or a laptop or a desktop that you're on or a TV that you're on, whatever it is, a certain car that you drive, it was all created within someone's mind, within somebody's ideas. And the people that advance civilization, they do it through their own courage to test their ideas. Most people talk themselves out of their own ideas. And if you talk yourself out of your own ideas, you're probably never going to get rich. Jim Rohn once said that if you don't have a plan, you become a part of somebody else's plan. He said, guess how much they have planned for you? Not much. The people that become very wealthy are the people that are willing to listen to their own intuition speaking to them. That's saying, hey, you can bend a piece of metal and fly it over the ocean. When nobody thought that you could bend a piece of metal and fly it over the ocean, the Wright brothers did it. When nobody was thinking about social media, for better or for worse, Mark Zuckerberg was able to complete the circle and really create the most fully addictive social media we've ever had. For better or worse, he was able to do that. Elon Musk was able to create an electric car company that could actually compete, legitimately compete, and be in the top 5 sales for a car company, and it's an electric in a world that is dominated by oil. These are people that thought of ideas. Henry Ford didn't even have a middle school education, and he advanced human civilization arguably as far as anybody who's ever lived with the automobile. Henry Ford, he didn't even have a middle school education. He once sued the Chicago Times because they called him an ignoramus. And it was true in one sense. He was a very ignorant person. He had basically no formal education, basically no book intelligence. And he was called up onto the stand during the time when he sued them and he was taking them to court for defamation, basically. The person tried to prove that he was an ignoramus. And they said, how many people were a part of the war of 1812 when they were throwing out these things like that? And he was saying answers like, well, I think a lot less came back than when started. And he was making everyone laugh, and the attorney was trying to make him look like an idiot. And he finally says, why would I ever fill my mind with such useless information when all I need to do is press this button right over here? My secretary will come in and she'll go get the people to give me the answer. I come up with the ideas and I put the right people around me. He became one of the richest people ever because he was willing to trust his own self. You have to trust yourself as a first step. You have to believe that every single person has genius within them in their own way. You have to say things like, I am a genius. I apply my wisdom. I am a genius. I apply my wisdom. You have to be able to not define your intelligence and your potential based off of your present bank account, based off of who you see when you look in the mirror, based off of the grades that you got when you were in school, based off of last year's tax returns or your present income. Because what people do is they label themselves in a certain way financially, and they go, and this is what I used to do. When I dropped out of college and I wrote my first book and I was trying to build a career as a writer and a speaker, every time I tried to get a publisher or an agent for quite some time, every time I tried to pitch a speakers bureau to represent me so they could sell me for speeches, every time in the beginning stages I tried to reach out to schools or anywhere to talk, what happened was I got told no time after time. I was 21 years old, so they said, you're too young. So I started to think that I was too young. One time, this person that I looked up to that was in a really big speakers bureau that I wanted to get into, and I did get into, they signed me, but then when I went for the meeting and I had like a TJ Maxx blazer on, I went to the meeting and then they sent me an email afterwards and told me they didn't think I was a good fit after they had already put me on the website. And it was a really big speakers bureau. It's called the Washington Speakers Bureau. And what's up, guys? How are you? And so I flew out to Washington. I took the meeting. I was wearing my like TJ Maxx thing, and I was already on the website, but we went out for an official meeting on how they were going to sell me to colleges and schools and corporations and stuff. And then after I left, they denied me. One of the speakers on the bureau that I really liked, I reached out to him and he did a phone call with me, basically to kind of mentor me, help me get into the speaking biz a little bit. And his advice was quite literally, it was a short phone call. He said, look, you got to go back to school. You have to get all your degrees, and then you've got to go back and try to get your master's, do psychology or do international business. Otherwise, no one's going to take you seriously. That was basically what he told me. So I had all this outside opposition. On top of that, when I was in high school, I was prescribed Adderall because I thought I had ADD and ADHD. I never did good in school. I always got anxiety around tests, like sweat really profusely, and I didn't matter how much I'd study, I'd cram it in, and then I'd get anxiety and forget it. So I thought I wasn't intelligent. I didn't do good on my ACTs, I didn't do good on my SATs, I didn't do good on basically about anything. So I had identified with a story about who I thought I was and therefore what I could earn financially. Because I was taught that all of those types of things and the story that I identified with were how much money I could make. Well, if you're not that smart, you can't make a lot of money. It's really hard to change it if you're used to making this much. And all these stories. And I realized they were just stories. They weren't even true. And so I realized all of my attention was focused outside of myself to get the answers, right? Trying to get on the phone with a million mentors, see if you could help me, see if you could help me, see if you could help me, could you help me? I was always looking outside of myself. And I had basically forgotten about my own ideas. And I scrapped all the business plans that they had, all the mentors I was trying to follow. Try to be a speaker. Here's how you get booked for colleges. Here's how you do this. And I said, I'm going to do YouTube. And I decided to trust myself. It happened because I spent a large sum of my remaining savings to pay a mentor or a coach that was a very successful college speaker. This was after that speaking bureau denied me. And what happened was that I paid this guy money, and he was very successful, made 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever, like every year in college speaking for many years, probably in his mid to late 40s. And have been doing it for years, said he had this whole system down on how to do it, and he'd mentor me. So pay him the last of my savings, end up not getting the service, don't get any results. I asked for the remaining money back for any work we didn't do, couldn't get in touch with him, and basically he ran off with the rest of the money and I couldn't work with him. And so it was really disheartening because I had spent many months preparing and many years thinking I was going to eventually be a college speaker. Then I got in this place where I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And this was when I was still dating Ashley, who's now my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. And I was really pissed off and afraid and all these things. And she said, everything's going to work out. And I realized I was at the edge of my story about how I thought I could eventually earn a lot of money. But then the story came to a screeching halt because I had the fall through with this guy that was my mentor. So I didn't even have a story to attach to for how I could eventually make money. And I got to this point where I had nothing else to lose. And I realized I want to do something that actually makes me happy. I want to trust my own ideas. I want to believe that I can finally create financial success. I can create financial independence. I can reach a lot of people with my work and contribute to people's lives. And I can get my books, my work, my courses, all these things out there to a bunch of people. And then I tried YouTube, and it didn't get progress for about 6 months, but then out of nowhere when I was camping and I didn't have cell service, one of my videos ended up getting like a couple 100,000 views in a 48-hour period out of absolutely nowhere and never looked back. And years later, it led to a multi-million-dollar business. And it happened when I finally said, I'm going to trust myself. I believe that you have an idea inside of you. Maybe you have a way that the universe is speaking to you. You can feel that thing that's like, I know this is calling me in this direction. When you finally say yes to those things, that's when you're in the energy of the greatest abundance. You're living as your truest self. And if you follow through and you have the courage to face those fears, those doubts, those times when other people say no, when other people question you, when you question yourself, when you look at your bank account and it's not moving and you're tempted to go, I'm broke, this isn't going to work. Those are the times when you need the courage to face that fear. And on the other side of that, when you finally trust that you have $1 million ideas inside of you and that your ideas also have the seed to fulfillment inside of them, that's when you get the breakthrough for huge financial success. That's when that one thing finally takes off. That's when the money comes, and it comes so quickly and with such great speed that it all doesn't even seem real, because it's like you tapped in to the real flow of money because those multi-million-dollar ideas or paths or directions were always inside of you. This whole key to manifesting large sums of money into your life is summarized by Napoleon Hill in his famous book, Think and Grow Rich. He said, riches, when they come so quickly and in such vast quantities that one wonders where they were hiding all those lean years. It's kind of like your financial freedom or your financial independence is waiting. It's almost like it's in escrow, waiting for you to claim it, waiting for you to have the courage to actually execute your own ideas, to move confidently in the direction of your dreams, to say yes in the face of the world saying no. Having the courage to face those anxieties, those fears, and to disidentify with your old story about who you thought you were and how much money you thought you could make, what was possible and what wasn't possible. And you might be saying, what on earth are you talking about now, Jake? What I'm talking about is like, you know how when your neighbor sells their house, or you're gonna buy a house, or maybe heck, you're even selling it. Or maybe your neighbor and they've got that little sign. You know what that one sign about escrow? The home's in escrow. So it's basically pending in between owners, right? Everything in this universe is energy, including money. My body is energy and this wall is energy. It's 99.999% empty space, and it's really, if you get a powerful enough microscope, it's just a mass of energy moving very, very quickly at the speed of light. And our eyes perceive this realm called visible light, and that's what we see as physical. But every single thing is energy, and energy is never resting. It's always in motion. So it's in a perpetual state of motion, just like water goes from liquid state, it can go into the ice state, it can go into the gas state. Similarly, energy is always moving into different forms. Sometimes it's not real, but it really is there. It's just currently not in the realm of visible light. So vibrational escrow, your money is in vibrational escrow. It's kind of like the home's in between owners. Similarly, the money you want is in escrow. You can't see it, so then you go, yeah, this sounds like wishful thinking. This isn't possible. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. Lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. One of my favorite quotes ever. Lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. What does that mean? Let's think about it. Lack of evidence isn't evidence of lack. So lack of evidence, meaning I don't see the results of the money coming yet. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's not a true evidence of lack. But what most people do is they allow their physical senses and the story in their mind control the actions that they do or do not take and the level of consciousness that they have. So they start on their idea, they write that book, they call the money into their life, they go pursue their dreams, and it doesn't happen as fast as they want. And then they get controlled by their brain and their physical senses and their present environment, and they say, see, the money's not coming. See, I'm always going to be broke. The rich people, they're controlling everything, the 1%. And besides, I'm not smart enough, and you don't understand. I had ADD, and you don't understand. I have this thing, and I'm too old, and I'm too young, and I didn't go to the right school, and I didn't go to school at all, and I don't know how, and what do I... And it just... The monkey mind goes on forever to justify why we'll continue to not have the amount of money that we want. First step, the way to overcome that is to pull out a pen and pad and write on that your financial goal. So whatever it is. I remember the first time I was making about like $1,500 a month consistently, finally, selling my books and like little book checks that come in and little speeches I'd get here and there. And I remember I said, I want to make $5,000. So I wrote on this thing, I'm so happy and grateful I'm now making $5,000 a month. And I remember the first year it was like $59,000. And I was like, yeah! And then I made my goal $10,000. Then that happened. Then it went into $1 million. But the common thread was, I always pulled out a pen and pad and I literally wrote down. I wrote it down. There's some type of power financially when you write your goals down. Very rarely do you meet someone that isn't advancing financially that has goals. So pull out a pen and pad and write it out, whatever it is. I want to make $5,000 a month. I want to make an extra $1,000 a month. I would just love to make an extra $500 a month. That'd be great. I want to make this much. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. You only know what's best for you and what you want most out of your life. But you write it down, and that's step number one. And when you write it down, what happens is you're starting to build a new story to identify with financially. All of a sudden, when you see your bank account not moving yet, when you get told no, when you start to go, is this possible? Or I wonder if it's going to work out. When that starts to happen, it's just noise now. It's just like turning down the volume on the radio, and we're turning it to another station now. And because everything is energy, including money, consciousness determines what energy you experience as your reality. That's how you create your financial reality, is through your own perception. Life is a result of perception and a result of psychology. And so what happens is, because everything is energy, and all the energy that ever was and ever will be already exists, including all the money, they're printing so damn much of it that they're going to eventually one day make the currency worthless. But that's another story for another time, for another channel. And so the reality is, the money's just like basically in a gas state. Just like you can't see the water, but it could also go back into water state. The money's in a gas state. It's at an energy level beyond what you can see. And you're experiencing the circumstances in your life that match the old financial story. All of a sudden, you're saying things like, I am a genius and I apply my wisdom. I have $1 million ideas inside of me, and they express themselves as great success. Everything I do prospers. Everything I touch turns to gold. God's wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. Every single day I'm attracting more success. I am good enough. I am smart enough. Money comes to me quickly and easily. And you start changing your story like that, and therefore you don't talk yourself out of your own greatness. You go do that extra sales call. You go do that extra cold call. You go talk to that one person. You send that one email. You decide you're going to turn off Netflix and instead you're going to focus on your work. You decide you're going to put your phone on airplane mode and go make it happen. You feel maybe a little down, so you go over to your goal that you wrote out. Remember, you wrote your goal out, right? You actually wrote out what your financial goal was. And you go over to your wall where you tape it onto your wall or onto your magnet with your refrigerator or on your bedroom door or whatever it is, and you go over and you read it out loud. I am so thankful that I'm making ba ba ba. Say it 5 times to yourself. Snaps yourself back into place. It's just like, psh, snap yourself back in. And then you go, all right, I'm going to do it. And you continue moving confidently in the direction of your dreams. Henry David Thoreau said that if you move confidently in the direction of your dreams, success will meet you in uncommon hours. Unexpectedly, it'll show up. Remember what Napoleon Hill said? He said, riches, when they come in such vast quantities and so quickly that one wonders where they were hiding all those lean years. Supposedly, the Chinese bamboo tree doesn't grow for like the first 5 years. So it's like easy to be like, oh, this piece of crap isn't growing. They gave me crappy seeds. Where's the bamboo tree? It's supposed to be here by now. And then on like the 5th year, what happens is it grows like 90% of its growth within a 12-month period after it didn't do crap for like 4 years. Look it up. Google Chinese bamboo tree grows after 4th year on Google. So it sprouts finally. See, if you were putting carrot seeds into the garden and I came in after 4 weeks and I was like, I'm ready to eat them. and let's say they took 6 weeks, and so you weren't able to see the carrots at their full growth yet, you'd be like, you're crazy. Or if you just planted new apple tree and I come over the next day and I say, where's the apples? And you say, well, it needs time to grow, then it needs time to fruit. Your financial ideas, your financial success, the money you want to attract is the same way. It starts as an idea. Then you internalize that idea. And then just like a seed that draws to it, the nutrients, it draws to it, all the things that it needs, when you say yes and you say, I am smart enough, I am a genius, and I apply my wisdom, I can create financial success. Large sums of money do come to me quickly and easily. I am making X amount of dollars every single month, just like a seed. Just like a seed has within it the key to its own fulfillment, you have the seeds to your own financial fulfillment, to your own goals. A lot of people will dismiss that, so they won't even write their goals down. They won't even say yes to them. They won't even consider if it's really possible. What I'm inviting you to do is suspend your disbelief about yourself. Suspend your disbelief that you do not have genius within you. Suspend your disbelief that you do not have greatness within you. Suspend your disbelief that you cannot master money. Suspend your disbelief that you cannot create financial freedom. What do you have to lose? Nothing. You don't have anything to lose. And out there in the world, you're going to hear all these talks, I can't do it, and I can't this, and the world's going this way, and the economy. It's just noise. Turn the volume down. Even during the Great Depression, many people got very rich. But the first step is to suspend your disbelief. You have million-dollar ideas within you. They're basically in escrow, waiting for you to claim them. And it begins by looking within yourself. Just like when you can't find your car keys, you're looking all around, they end up being in your hand. Just like me looking for my sunglasses, they end up being stuck under my hair. The key to your better financial future is you. You are good enough, you are smart enough, it is possible. You are good enough, you are smart enough, it is possible. So thank you for watching this video. This is Jake Ducey, and make sure you hit the like button on it. Either right over there or right over there. That's what sends it out into the YouTube universe so more people see it. Also, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get notified for new videos, and leave a comment down below of something you enjoyed from this video. Maybe repeat one of the affirmations. I am a genius, I apply my wisdom, or large sums of money come to me quickly and easily. While you're still inspired, make sure you pull out a pen and pad and actually write out your financial goal. Put it on your wall, put it on your door, and let's see if we can get the energy moving. I'm looking forward to hearing about all the great things that come your way from the result of this video. Be sure to leave a comment when you do that and you hit the like and that kind of stuff. It actually helps the YouTube algorithm, so that could be your way to send this video out into the YouTube universe. Can't wait to hear you write out your goals. I'll talk to you soon.